certainly enjoyed my 4th of July weekend. Oh, it's great to be back. Great to be back here on a Wednesday, giving you the number one form, number one ticket. Hottest show on the market right here when it comes to Crimson Tide football. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, bringing you the show from the magic city of Birmingham, streaming this to you on YouTube. Speaking of a channel, go ahead right now, drop a thumbs up, give a like on the show, hit that subscribe button, turn all of those notifications on, hit that little bell so that way you can get all the conversation that is Alabama football. Also, we're streaming this to you on Facebook and Twitter as well. No excuse whatsoever for you not to be locked in to the number one ticket that is Bama football. We got a lot to get into on the day, a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss. We're going to have an outstanding guest join us later on in the show, my man Zac Stevens, who covers the Denver Broncos for Denver Sports. Going to give us an update here on Jerry Judy and also Patrick Surtain II. Got a new game we're unveiling on the show, the Elimination Game. So a lot to bring to you, the Bama Nation, on this evening. We want you guys being a part of the show. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358. That's the number to dial to let your voice be heard on the channel, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Jimmy the Man Cash Clay getting us started with that Super Chat goal. This $50 coming in here. Appreciate the donation and love coming from Jimmy Clay. The daily Super Chat goal, $75 daily Super Chat goal. But appreciating the 50 there, starting us off there from Jimmy Clay. Got to shout out my man John Ivory one time in the building, in the production studio, doing his thing. And John, I thoroughly enjoyed myself 4th of July weekend. My family and I, we are a very competitive bunch. My family, we played a cornhole and a kickball tournament, and I was a 2-time champion, baby. My team won the cornhole tournament. My team won the kickball tournament. They poured water on me. We were dancing around. Great time, great victory. Really enjoyed my time there. But as we jump into now, topic number one of conversation for tonight's show, name, image, likeness, capitalizing off these things is a conversation that's not going to go away. We're already seeing more and more Alabama student athletes ink partnerships, endorsement deals, capitalizing off their likeness. But today, I want to get into 10 players. My top 10 Bama players in the history of the program that would have greatly benefited from NIL. And of course, if you haven't thought, fans, definitely want to encourage you to engage with us, have us your thoughts. But here we go here. My top 10 players that would have benefited. At number 10, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts would have really benefited off NIL. Remember, prior to him coming in 2016 in the Saban era, Alabama never had a true freshman starting quarterback. We saw what Jalen did that year. He set records. He broke records. SEC Freshman of the Year, SEC Offensive Player of the Year. Just, a guy that, a man of the people. People, love Jalen, enjoy being around Jalen. You have the Hurt So Good hashtag, the Hurt So Good button that was on people's shirts. Like Jalen, companies would have came to Jalen. Jalen Hurts would have made quite the amount of money off this thing. Companies would have really came with Jalen. Not too many people are loved by two different programs the way Jalen is. And of course, you go back to, I was at his youth football camp on June 26th. Black, white, Hispanic, they were all out there showing that support. So number 10, I think Jalen Hurts would have truly benefited. Moving on up here to number 9, give me Cornelius Biscuit Bennett here. And I know when you bring up Biscuit, you got to talk about Derek Thomas. We'll get to him soon. But starting this off with Cornelius Bennett, Biscuit was one of the first real, intimidating, physical, imposing, scary defensive pass rushers. And, Biscuit, I think it was between 1986 or 87. I think it was 86, where he had the huge sack of Steve Berline, the sack. Berline, the quarterback of Notre Dame, just flattened him like a pancake there, and that got the Daniel Moore painting. Biscuit would have made a lot of money off that Daniel Moore painting, and I know he ended up going to the NFL and played in those Super Bowls with the Buffalo Bills. But I feel like Cornelius Bennett, if NIL would have been around at that time, him being one of the more dominant, imposing figures, Biscuit would have gotten some money off that. But he's number 8. Moving on up to number 7. Give me number 8. Excuse me, getting ahead of myself. Number 8. Give me Shaun Alexander. Shaun Sweetfeet Alexander, and Saban's had a lot of great running backs come to the program. A lot of them still playing in the NFL right now. 2 of those guys were Heisman Trophy winners, and all the Heisman guys, honorable mention guys. But when I look at, when you talk to Alabama fans out there and you ask them, who got you started watching Tide football? Who engrafted you, or who indoctrinated you in? A lot of them will go Shaun Alexander. Shaun was the reason why I got into Bama football. He could carry the team. He wasn't the biggest guy, strongest guy, fastest guy, but he had speed. He had subtle explosiveness. He had burst. He had vision. He had quick feet. That Florida game, both Florida games in the 99 season, the game in the Swamp, and of course the SEC championship, he put the team on his back, and he's kind of got that corporate vibe to him. When Shaun walked into a room, you felt like he could run a company, he could run a brand, he's got that personality, he's got that feeling about himself. And I remember when he was presenting Will Anderson with the Freshman of the Year award, so many people were just excited to see Shaun back on campus, doing big things there. Yes, he had a good career in the NFL. I think he was on the cover of Madden in 07. But Shaun Alexander, to me here, number 8 guy that would have greatly benefited off the NIL. Going down to number 7, we get into Ken Stabler. Ken Snake Stabler. And, to me, Ken Stabler was the tough, gritty, grimy, put your hands to the plow, work, and let's just get this thing done. It may not be pretty, it may not be sexy, but let's just win. And that's what he embodied at Alabama, and that's what Bama fans loved about him. And you look at probably his most famous play, arguably, in the history of the program, was his run in mud in the Iron Bowl to beat Auburn 7-3. I mean, the field was horrendous, muddy, wet, atrocious field conditions, but this is exactly what, Ken Stabler was about. And I could literally see a company, coming to him, whether it was a Mercedes-Benz company or a steel plant or just any type of warehouse deal, endorsing him because he was that tough, gritty, hard-hat, type of guy. And, at the quarterback position, gritty, tough, runner, scrambler, could make throws. Sometimes he kind of, worried Paul Bear Bryant a little bit, but Ken Stabler, a guy that did his thing. He's number 7 here. Moving on up to number 6, Derek Thomas, the most physically imposing defensive player in the history of Alabama football. He not only won up to Biscuit Bennett in terms of single-season records, he won up to himself. I mean, Derek Thomas, 18 sacks in a single season, 1987, 1988. He went up to 27 sacks. He has made it virtually impossible for anybody to catch him. If Will Anderson is to catch him, Will would have to average 2 to 3 sacks, this season, per game. But, Derek Thomas, a guy that he made opposing quarterbacks scared. He made opposing, offensive coaches scared. He made the wives and girlfriends of these opposing quarterbacks scared because you didn't know where Derek was going to come from. He would light you up from any area on the field. And one part of being a big corporation is how do you stay relevant in everything. Derek Thomas kept 2 coaches relevant when you talk Bill Curry and Ray Perkins. So Derek Thomas would have benefited off that NIL if it was around for him. He's number 6. Moving on up here to number 5, Julio Jones. Julio came in at a time where we had never seen big, freakish, athletic, lanky, physical wide receiver before. Like when Julio came in 2008, we were like, oh, okay, that guy's different. That guy's special. That guy is something else. And only if he would have played in today's offenses, he could have been even better. Yes, he's got the Kia dealerships, the Kia company, but if NIL was around with Julio would have made some bank off that. He's number 5. At number 4, Joe Namath, Joe Cool, Broadway Joe. The first really big, glamour, appealing, you felt like this was an Alabama quarterback when you talk Joe Namath. I mean, big arm, big presence, big ability. Won the national championship, I believe that was 1962, if I'm not mistaken. The second one with Bear Bryant, and he and Bear, butted heads at times. But I feel like with Namath, to me, he was quarterback by day, actor by night. You could go to any commercial. You can go to any brand. You could go to any venue and put Joe Namath on the cover of it. Everybody was going to buy it. Everybody was going to pick that up. Joe just had that swag to him, rocking the mink coat. He just had that sauce to him. Joe Namath, to me, number 4 right there, guy that would have really benefited off NIL. Jumping on down to number 3, we'll go A.J. Mccarron. And I feel like people at times forget how much loved A.J. was. I mean, a kick 6 kept him from being a 3-time national championship starting quarterback. A kick 6 kept him from being the biggest face of the BCS era of all time, though he was one of the big faces there. I think A.J. Mccarron was the only quarterback where Nick Saban jumped into his arms after the game. So you saw that relationship. And he kind of had this huge Americana feel to him as a 2-time national champion starting quarterback. So, number 3, NIL was around. Definitely A.J. Mccarron. Number 2, Tua Tagovailoa. That throw, 2nd and 26, changed everything. It went from Kirby's going to win something to everything was taken away from Kirby. Nick Saban, the greatest moment of his life. Tua would have made millions, billions just off that throw. That throw changed everything. That throw changed the game. That throw changed the trajectory of a lot of things. Helped Nick Saban tie Bear Bryant in terms of championships. And last but not least here, folks, number 1, Tyrone Pro throw, just because, the compound leg injury, his football career was stripped from him. If NIL was around with Pro throw, it would have been a lot better for him because athletic, gifted, special wide receiver, he could have had some spending. He could have had some startup money to start his career after football. He would have greatly benefited from name, image, likeness because of how dynamic he was. But folks, that's going to lead us to our first break here on the show. Don't touch that dial, just getting started. Upon our return, we dive into your phone calls, your thoughts, your tweets, your chats, your engagements right after this.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace today by visiting weownthefourthquarter.com. Throw them foes up. Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care. In support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
As As we are back in here, folks, back into the action on a Wednesday. Hump Day, Huddle Show on the streets. Number one forum for Bama football news. And my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Gotta shout out Jimmy Clay again. Jimmy Cash Clay, that $25 donation, he takes care of the daily super chat goal of $75. Bye. Him, Sab, wait a minute, John. Put that horn on again because Mechanic has come in here with that $25 donation. So we appreciate Mechanic coming in here, helping out Jimmy Clay right there. As always, people, the daily super chat goal, $75, daily super chat goal, Jimmy Clay and Mechanic getting it done for us. As we're back in here from the break, we got our call segment here brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang. Taking your phone calls right now, 205-448-1358, the number right there, 205-448-1358. We grab a call from Wayland. Wayland, what's going on, brother? Wayland, what's going on? You're on the show.
Yeah, how's everybody doing? How's everybody doing tonight? Everybody doing good? You doing good, Stephen?
Doing great, man. Doing fantastic.
Well, I was sitting here laughing a little bit there when I heard you talk about Biscuits when he sacked Steve Berline. I was there at the ball game. Cost $15 to get a ticket in 1986. Think about that, 15 big ones. Whew. Boy, that was a lot of money back then, I tell you. I hope everybody had a good 4th of July holiday there. And once again, let's remember these people in Surfside, Miami. We still got a lot of people and suffering down here. This loss, all these people in this building, falling. I tell you, it's just tragic. Something tragic every day on the news. And, this pay for play, well, I guess we had everybody dumping the Milo tea down the drain like the Boston Tea Party there. I done it. Nacho, my buddy, done it. I think everybody put a TikTok video up, but you didn't dump your tea. Did you drink it or did you dump it, Stephen?
Waylon, I thought about it, but then, Malachi saved the day. So when Malachi, said he got his with Milo, I said, you know what? For Malachi, I'm not going to dump it.
I hear you. I hear you. Me and Nacho might have got a little excited there too quick. But anyway, that sounds good. Everybody in the Blue Ridge Gang, you're looking good, doing a great job on this $75 a day meeting everything. Everybody looks good here. Stay safe. We'll meet here again in a few weeks, the Lord's willing there. And once again, my favorite man got out of jail. A lot of people ain't going to like this, but I loved him. Hey, Fat Albert. I'll catch everybody in a few weeks. Y'all be good, everybody. Bye-bye.
Appreciate Wayne for the call there, showing that love for one Bill Cosby. We'll take our next call right here. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Hey, Stephen A. Roll Tide.
How you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling pretty good. Got an interesting question for you.
Go ahead.
Now, we all know as Bama fans that Nick Saban has installed something called the process. This is involving everything from recruiting, player development, their personal lives, everything. And there was someone, I forget if it was Sports Illustrated or ESPN, said one of his biggest recruiting pitches to the family is he'll look parents in the eye and say, if you entrust me with your son, I will give you back a man. And a lot of people like that. But I've not really heard that other coaches are saying, 6 championships in 12 years. This guy's doing it right. I want to install that process at my school. Have you heard of anybody going that far, or are they just trying to pick it apart, pick a few things that they like, because they don't want to say, well, I won because I copied Saban.
People want to imitate greatness, absolutely. You can see a little bit of that in the Georgia program with Kirby Smart. He's trying to take some things that he learned from Saban to apply it down there at Georgia. Now, are they doing exactly like Saban does it? No, because Saban doesn't teach you everything. Saban doesn't unveil everything. So you can take bits and pieces, but it's not going to be exactly how Saban would run it. We appreciate that call there, coming right there from that call. Absolutely, you can take bits and pieces, but not actually like how Saban's going to full on do it. But quick little topic right here, and it goes to one Malachi Moore. Speaking of NILs, Malachi Moore is actually using his for a bigger purpose. He's using his endorsements. He's using his partnerships to give back to a young man, little boy, Ford Bertram, who's also a Trussville native, built Fort tough here. Ford Bertram, who was diagnosed with leukemia on February 13th of last year. He and Malachi have a very close friendship, and Moore wants to see his little buddy, his young friend, continue to fight, persevere, get well, get better, beat this disease, beat this illness. So 10% of his proceeds from his partnerships will go to helping out and supporting the family of Ford Bertram. Just really, really wonderful gesture from a wonderful young man and a guy in Malachi that continues to take the Nick Saban mantra of people may not remember what you do on the football field, but what you do for them in an hour of need and in a time of need, that is what people are going to remember the most about you. So proud to see Malachi Moore reach out there and help the family of young Ford Bertram there. But we take a break right now on the show. Don't touch that dial. Upon our return, we will sit down with Zac Stevens of Denver Sports to talk about Jerry, Judy, and Patrick Surtain II right after this.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your 4-finger bling necklace right now at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
We are back in here, folks, from the break on a Wednesday, middle of the week. Number one forum for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. And we make our way over to the In My Own Words hotline. We pick up a home run hitting guest right here. We got none other than Zac Stevens of Denver Sports, covering those Broncos, Mile High in Vesco Field. Zac, how you feeling, my man? Happy to have you in here.
Oh, Stephen, it is great. I'm loving the energy. Thanks for having me on, my friend.
Absolutely. So, Zac, let's get down to business right here. So, last year, 2020, the Broncos took Jerry Judy at wide receiver from Alabama, number 15 overall. So many people talked about best receiver on the board, most complete receiver on the board, do-it-all type of guy. And last season, he had a good rookie year. 52 catches, over 800 yards, 3 touchdowns. He averaged 16.5 yards per catch. So some decent numbers, had 2 100-yard games. But he also suffered from some drops there that people were not, used to seeing there when you talk about a former 5-star in Judy. As he's training this offseason, as he's working this offseason, do you feel like, he's ready to be the number one guy in Denver and taking this game to another level, being more consistent here in year 2?
I really, really do feel like he's ready to take that big jump. And Jerry was pretty honest with us this offseason. And he said he was doing a little too much last year, because we know, and you know really well, just how great his route running is. When he was a rookie, he was trying to do a little too much, and he was open all of the time. But sometimes, instead of doing just one move on a defender to get open, and that's all he needs to do, he was doing 2 moves, and then it was throwing off his timing on the route. In college, you can do that because you're just so wide open. In the NFL, if you're throwing off a route's timing, that's going to hurt where the quarterback is throwing the ball, because they're throwing to a spot. They're not throwing to a player, as you know. So I think that that's going to help him get on the same page with the quarterback this year. And that was one of the biggest things that Jerry Judy had an issue with last year. And it wasn't all his fault by any means, but him and Drew Lock were just never really on the same page. And so you couple that with the fact that the Broncos just had pretty bad quarterback play last year, I think it's actually really impressive what Jerry was able to do with 52 catches, 856 yards. I'm very impressed and very encouraged with where he's at. And here's the thing, Stephen, Jerry is going to take off this year, I believe, with the connection that he's building with Teddy Bridgewater. And right now, the Broncos are in a quarterback competition with Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater. I believe Teddy's going to win that job. And what we've seen from the month of OTAs and minicamp that I've been able to watch down there at Dove Valley with the Broncos is the chemistry between Teddy Bridgewater and Jerry Judy is already really, really good. Teddy's a guy that'll throw to a spot where a receiver needs to be, and so far Jerry has been all over that.
That is really interesting because both guys, Zach, are South Florida guys, Bridgewater and Judy. And keep in mind, when Bridgewater was in high school, he threw to another former Alabama wide receiver in Amari Cooper. So now Bridgewater would get another guy in Judy. That is incredible. But going from one South Florida guy to another one on the defensive side, the Broncos took Patrick Surtain the second in this draft. And, here's a guy, lockdown corner, solid corner, big-time defender. You're already starting to see a couple of the leadership players of the Broncos speak very highly of this young man. What has impressed you so far about Patrick Surtain's game as he takes on his rookie year?
Everything, Stephen. Everything's been impressive about him. Like you said, he has all of the physical tools you could ever imagine to dominate in the SEC, which he has those to dominate in the NFL. And then he also has everything else that you need, including the mental aspect of the game, but not just the typical mental aspects that people have that, smart, good football IQ. This is a guy with his dad, Pat Surtain, who played in the NFL, played against the Broncos many years, was very good in the NFL. So he has the experience of what it's like to be in the NFL. So typically for many players, you have a rookie learning curve where you transfer into the pros and your whole life changes from college to the NFL and you have to get used to the game. I really do think that he has a big leg up this year by having that experience from his dad, being around NFL players in the past, knowing what that life is like. So I don't think he's going to have much of a transition at all. Now, the biggest transition for Patrick Surtain, or I shouldn't say transition, the biggest hurdle that he's going to have is the Broncos have three other really good cornerbacks on the roster right now that are making $10 million a year. So he's going to have to come in and just prove that he's this top 10 pick, which everything he's done this offseason has absolutely been that. You mentioned a couple of veterans pointing to him. Von Miller said, when I first saw him out there on the field, I thought he was a pass rusher because he's so big. Justin Simmons, an all-pro safety, said, he's the size of me. And that's exactly right. He's the size of the Broncos' biggest secondary player in Justin Simmons. So he has it all. And, man, out there, it is fun to watch. And, Steven, I'll tell you something. The Jerry Judy and Patrick Surtain have gone up against each other many times during this offseason. And you can tell they're just having a blast with it. And it's been really fun to watch. But Jerry Judy has been showing the rookie what it's like in the NFL. Jerry Judy's gotten the best of him, but not because Surtain hasn't looked good. It's just Jerry Judy. He's being in the exact right spot while the rookie's just trailing him.
If you're just tuning into the show, people, we got Zac Stevens here on the phone lines. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, talking about the Denver Broncos, in particular, Jerry Judy and Patrick Surtain II. So, Zac, you have actually brought us into a fantastic segue and bringing the two together. Just in what ways have you seen where Judy and Surtain have been able to play off each other, whether it's understanding the route concept and Judy's able to get the better of him on a route, or Surtain being able to read the route and get in front of Judy. What type of cues have both of these two been given to each other to make sure that they're both on their game coming into this year?
Yeah, I mean, first off, the chemistry between the two, you can tell that they played at college together and that they're good friends. And I think that's really going to help Patrick Surtain, especially since this is a guy who's going to be going up against him. Jerry's going to know exactly what to tell him after he beats him on a play. And I remember this one play, it was a red zone drill. It was Jerry Judy out on the right side. Patrick Surtain lined up one-on-one against him from about 5 yards out earlier this offseason. And it was a little out route to the corner that Jerry ran to perfection. and caught it from Teddy Bridgewater right in the corner. Patrick Surtain was right on him, but you can't beat a perfect throw and a perfect catch, and the coverage was nearly perfect. Jerry gets it, does a little dance right in front of the rookie, and then smacks him on the helmet saying, "Rookie, it's okay, kid. You'll be fine." And really, the only person that's beat that's beat Patrick Surtain this offseason has been Jerry Judy. And so I think that just speaks volumes to both of these guys, because the Broncos do have a really good receiving core, although Cortland Sutton has been on the sideline for this offseason and he recovers from an ACL. But Patrick Surtain has just been as impressive as you would expect from the 9th overall pick.
Going to be fun watching the Denver Broncos this season, Jerry Judy and Patrick Surtain II. We appreciate Zac Stevens coming on here to give us a lowdown on both players, covering the Denver Broncos from Denver Sports. Zac, man, love the lowdown, love the energy. Appreciate you, man. Take care of yourself.
Hey, thanks so much for having me on, Steven.
Absolutely. Zac Stevens on the show covering the Denver Broncos for Denver Sports. Just give us a little update there on Jerry Judy and Patrick Surtain II, as the Denver Broncos soon will be in training camp late this month. Really excited to watch that team in the upcoming season. But folks, we take a break right now, but when we come back, we get back into the phone lines to take your calls, your thoughts, your texts, your chats, your tweets. We interact with you, the Bama Nation, right after this.
Don't touch that dial. Call in right now as we're taking your calls up next on In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith. Brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Visit WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com now to get your 4-finger bling necklace. You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your 4-finger bling necklace right now at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
Rocking and rolling, folks. Rocking and rolling in from the break of number one form for Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. We're back in here to the phone lines to take your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. That's the number to dial right there to let your voice be heard, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. We grab a call right now. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Hi, Stephen. Bill from New York City. How you doing, brother?
Bill, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Okay. Listen, I sent you a money order because it was taking so long for checks to clear. But now they started clearing. I'm going to go back to checks. But anyway, let me just tell you, with the top 10, I was a little disappointed that Derrick Henry wasn't in there. Like what you said about Malachi Moore was so beautiful. But when Derrick was when he was at the Combine, he actually went to a children's hospital, while other people were out partying. He was always a great player, great guy. I hope he makes $100 million, And the other thing I wanted to say, we're inside 60 days now, man, till Miami. And I want this defense of ours to pitch a shutout. I'm still so excited about this defense. I can't believe what we're going to see. What do you think about that?
I am excited for this defense, too. I think the last 3 years they have grown tired of people saying you guys not dominant anymore, not elite anymore, and this group is ready to go out there with its hair on fire. I'm excited to see the first hit put on De'Aaron King. Good quarterback for Miami, but I'm really pumped up about this defense. Absolutely, Bill. I'm excited for it.
You're the man, Stephen. Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely. Bill, they're calling from New York. Appreciate Bill. Got shout out Bill out. Bill with the money order there. Thank you for Bill for the love he's been showing us on the show. Even though I did not have Derrick Henry in the top 10, I mean, I sat there and said, all the Heisman winners, honorable mention guys, they're worthy of it. Derrick Henry, Mark Ingram, Devonta Smith, all worthy of it. But we all kind of knew that, those three guys, after you win the Heisman, you're going to go and be like a major high-round draft pick. So, those guys, honorable mention. You do have to mention those guys. But I just felt like that top 10 I had was a very respectable top 10. If you guys have thoughts, definitely call in for your thoughts on who would you feel like would have been the most to benefit off name, image, likeness. But as you're getting your thoughts in, cool topic here. Devonta Smith's trophy case is not stopping, y'all. It's not stopping. Before he takes his first NFL snap with the Eagles, Smitty is the recipient of the Roy F. Kramer SEC Male Athlete of the Year. Took that award today. And coming off a season where it was incredible. Led every receiver in college football for receptions, 117, yards, 1,856, touchdowns with 23, won every award imaginable known to man. And what's so crazy is the way that he went from being national championship game-winning catch guy to the greatest receiver to ever play in the history of the program. It's incredible. I remember after Smitty made the game-winning touchdown catch against Georgia as a freshman, so many people were still talking about, he's good, but Jerry Judy's the guy. Henry Ruggs, fast. Jalen Waddle is this. And he just continued to work, grind, be a perfectionist, and winning awards, being top 10 pick, pocketing a $20.1 million contract for 4 years, and now SEC Male Athlete of the Year. That trophy case has no end to it. Big ups there to Devonta Smith, and excited to see the chemistry and the big play action and the production that he and Jalen Hurts are going to look to put together on the field for the Eagles. But we take a break right now on the show. When we get back, we unveil the new Game Interactive segment. To, in my own words, we jump into it right after this.
If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All-Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to STSFootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to STSFootwear.com and get your All-Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
As we are back in here, folks, from the break, tidying up the loose ends on a Wednesday, hump day, number one forum for Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Thankful to each and every last one of you guys calling in, writing in, texting in, super chatting in. Appreciate the love from each and every last one of you. And before we get into the final topic of conversation, our game segment here, got to remind you of TDAwear.com. That is TDAwear.com. So for all of you Bama fans still overjoyed with the Tide's national championship, we want you to check out our championship collection merch. Now this means you grab you an 18 of them things, folk, hoodie, t-shirt or sweatshirt, as well as our Got 18 We Do shirts. Designs that feature all 18 championship years on the back. You head on over to TDAwear.com. Do it right now. TDAwear.com. You go over Championship Collections merch tab, and you get that gear today. As you can see, I'm rocking my TDA Wear shirt, showing that support for Coach Saban, the University of Alabama, the student athletes, and us here at Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Well, you guys enjoy Lock or Drop. You guys were down with buy, sell, or hold. But now we bring the new game here, Elimination. That's the game, Elimination. So in this game here, you've got 3 questions, basically. You got 3 questions. You got 4 answer choices, 4 options. And I am eliminating all the different options until we get down to the true number 1 answer. And it's geared toward this season for Alabama football because we're all excited, we're all overjoyed, we're all pumped up as we're inside of 60 days until Alabama-Miami set up for Saturday, September 4th, inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, the Chick-fil-A kickoff matchup there. So we ready to get it popping? We ready to get it going? Here we go. Elimination game. We dive into the first thought here. Oh, wow, man. First thought here. All right. So we got most exciting player for Alabama for the 2021 season. Most exciting player for Alabama. And our answer choices we got here. We got Will Anderson, outside linebacker. We got Bryce Young, quarterback. We got John Mechie, wide receiver. And we got Malachi Moore, defensive back. Now, I like John Mechie. I think he's really good. I think he's really talented. I think he's going to take that step to be the number 1 guy, but not feeling John Mechie for this answer. Not feeling John Mechie. Malachi Moore, really good, really athletic, dynamic. Led the team in interceptions last year with 3. Freshman All-American, second team All-SEC, second team All-SEC, freshman All-SEC. So, great player, great dude, great personality. But I'm not really feeling Malachi for this answer either. Now, Will Anderson, woohoo! Will, going into his sophomore year, 7 sacks last year, 10.5 tackles for loss. Freshman All-American, Sean Alexander, Freshman of the Year from the Football Writers Association. The guy was a big, huge, massive deal right here. We're going to actually keep Will Anderson on the board here for a few. We're going to actually keep Will Anderson right here. Bryce Young. Now, BY, former 5-star coming over from high school in California, got in 9 games last year, had an incredible spring. Coach Saban, teammates, everybody talking about him. The guy, strong spring, game over 300 yards passing, 1 touchdown. But Dixie Howell, most valuable player of the game. So we got Will Anderson and we got Bryce Young. Who are we going to go with? We're going to go Bryce Young. We're going to go Bryce Young as the most exciting player for Alabama for 2021. And why we're going to go Bryce Young? For the simple reason of people want to see. We all want to see what he's got on the field. We want to see the accuracy. We want to see the precision. We want to see the escapability. We want to see the big playability. Most importantly, we want to see, can he be the fifth player of the Saban era as a first-year starting quarterback now to take this team wire to wire, start to finish, and be a national champion. Everybody is lasered in on number 9, Big 9, Bryce Young. That's the one everybody is most excited about here. So we dive into now our second question. All right. So second thought here, we got most breakout Alabama player for 2021. Now, for breakout player, this will be the guy that, probably did not get much of an opportunity to do anything in 2020, and we're all looking forward to this player to do big, big things here in the upcoming season. And the answer choices here, we got Julio Billingsley at tight end. We got Jace Mcclellan at running back. We got Drew Sanders as outside linebacker. And we got Tim Smith on the defensive line. Now, here we go here. Tim Smith, really like him. Really intrigued by him. Really fascinated by him. Really an outstanding playmaker. We saw him last year when he got in here. He made some stuff happen. But not really feeling Tim Smith on this. Not really feeling Tim Smith. So, now we look at the likes of Julio Billingsley. Julio has a chance to have a monster year. He's got a chance to have an incredible year. Bill O'Brien in here, we've seen what he has done with tight ends, whether at the collegiate level or the professional level. But not really feeling Julio Billingsley for this, even though he did have 18 catches, 287 yards, and 3 touchdowns last season. Not really feeling Julio right here. Drew Sanders, 5-star monster from the state of Texas when he came out of high school. Didn't really have an opportunity last year because of COVID. Gonna have more of a shot this year, and we're gonna keep Drew on the board here. We're gonna keep Drew right here. Jace Mcclellan, big speed, burst, explosiveness at high school, Alito, Texas, 2020. We saw him a little bit last year, made big plays, huge plays. Of course, we saw him, last year, against Arkansas, had that big run, had a really, really big spring game. So we got here Jace Mcclellan, Drew Sanders. We're going to go with Jace Mcclellan. We're going to go Jace Mcclellan here. We're going to go Jace Mcclellan. So the reason why I'm going to go Jace Mcclellan here is the biggest breakout star is the one responsibility he's got here, beating out B-Rob. And I think, he's going to get that done. I think he's going to get that done to be the number one back. And Jace fits the modern-day college running back where he does everything well. Speed well, burst well, run through the tackles well, catch the ball out of the backfield well, can pass block a little bit. Working with one Brad Lester, speed genius, speed performance, athletic coach in Atlanta. And Lester told me, hey, look at this. This guy, Jase Mcclellan, more explosive than what Najee was last year. And I had Najee last year. And we saw what Najee did last year. But Brad Lester saying, Jase, way more explosive. Going with Jase Mcclellan here, bigger breakout star. But we appreciate you guys in the chat. You guys in the chat picked Drew Sanders, 40% of the vote. I want to see Drew do well. People look at him as kind of the Captain America type. I want to see Drew do well. But I'm looking at Jace, though, because the big season that he's going to have a chance to have here. So we move on here. Final question right here. Final thought. Oh man. Final thought right here. Whew, Jesus. Most unexpected unsung hero for Alabama in 2021. Unexpected unsung hero. This is the guy that you don't expect. You're not expecting him to have a big season. You're not expecting him to have big production. Whatever this guy gives, icing on the cake, gravy, and it may even catch you by surprise here. So our choices here, we got Xavier Williams, wide receiver, Jalen Moody, linebacker, Daniel Wright, defense safety, and Jagan Armour-Davis, cornerback. So I look at this, Daniel Wright, that's my dude right there. That's my guy. Like him, but at times can be very much so feast or famine. Did have a couple of interceptions a season ago, but not really rocking with Daniel. Not rocking with Daniel on this one. Then you look at Xavier Williams, good kid, has talent, has ability, trying to get himself on the field as a wide receiver from South Florida. Was able to come up a little bit down the stretch last season, but did not show up in the A-Day game the way I would have liked him to. So not feeling Xavier Williams there. Jalen Moody, Now, Jalen Mooney, he stepped up a bit last year. Fielded admirably for Christian Harris in the Arkansas game. 7 tackles, half a tackle for loss, forced fumble recovery. Did some good things last season. Had a really good spring game, and he is very much so knowledgeable of this system, entering his 4th year in this system. So we're going to keep here Jalen Mooney on the board. And then you got Jalen Armour Davis. When he came in 2018, the coaching staff just loved him, infatuated by him, his size, his speed, his ability, his athleticism, all of these things. So the fans, you guys are going with JAD, who's in the lead with 75% of the vote here. I'm going to go with Jalen Armour Davis. Kick Slide King will be the unexpected unsung hero. And the reason why I'm saying JAD, think Levi Wallace for just a moment. Levi Wallace, remember, he came in, walk on, battle, competed against all the great receivers, played a little bit in 2016, but 2017 was Levi's breakout year. We were like, who the heck is that? You know, the T-Pain, Daga thing. He went crazy. Levi, 15 pass breakups, 3 picks, a pick 6, helped Bama win the national championship 2017, and got to the NFL. When I look at Jalen Armour Davis, the same type of potential, the same type of ability. He's held on to that starting corner spot opposite Josh Jobe throughout the entire spring. I think he's going to hang on to it throughout the entire summer and throughout fall camp. Keep your eyes on Jalen Armour Davis. Keep your eyes on this dude. I think he has a chance to put up some big numbers, have a very strong season, and have people going, did you expect this from him? Did you expect this from Armour Davis? Jalen Armour Davis, unexpected, unsung hero here for Bama this season. But that was fun. That was fun. Thank you guys for playing Elimination for this edition of Bama football for the upcoming season. As always, Tide fans, if you want the best in news, notes, information, and coverage here on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide, you can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. For your audio listening needs, we got you right here, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, Overcast.fm, Google Play, TuneIn Radio, or iHeartRadio. Got you covered. The good and gracious Lord sees fit. I'll be back on Friday continuing the conversation that is Tide football. As always, Bama fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, have those sent to your door. That link will be found in the description. If you're also trying to copy that fresh edition, new edition, print edition of TDA, the magazine, you can get that by going to touchdownalabama.com, and you can click join, become a member, a subscriber today. If you're also trying to get your hands on the 4-finger bling necklace, 4-finger bling jewelry, courtesy of our guys at weownthefourthquarter.com, that link is in the description as well. But until next time, folks, husbands love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children continue doing the right thing, the fun thing, the smart thing, the good thing, the legitimate thing, to not be bored. You get you those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. Protect yourself, protect the loved ones around you. Until next time, folks, spit in my own words.